Let's start with roll call.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Banks.
Here.
Councilmember Budaszewski.
Here.
Councilmember Cummings.
Here.
Councilmember Kaiser. Here. We have a quorum.
All right, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have an agenda before us. The one adjustment on this agenda is item 6.3 has been stricken. Staff needs some additional time. With that adjustment, I am looking for a motion on that agenda. Go ahead, Nancy.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
All right, thank you. Second.
Second.
Go ahead, David. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David. Thank you, David. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
And that's just on that one item, correct?
Correct. Correct. All right. At this point, we have a proclamation. I will read that into the record at this time.
Question. I'd like to change, if it's for the whole agenda, I thought it was just on the one item. Strict, I thought we were going to make a motion approving the agenda as a whole. So I'd like to change my vote to deny.
I'm sorry.
Would you like to hear why?
No. I want to be clear. I thought we just made a motion on the whole.
Yeah, I wasn't clear about that, so I
Okay.
thought we were only talking about one issue.
So, yeah, speak as you will.
Yeah. The agenda is missing a proclamation for Women's History Month.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we add a proclamation as such to the agenda.
Oh, okay.
You need a second?
Yes?
I will second that.
All right. Point of order.
I just get confused as far as, I mean,
Troy?
I'm not confused, but confused,
Yeah, well, that's how I feel too, yeah.
so.
So the point of order is forcing a proclamation by the mayor to make it a proclamation. That's what I'm seeing. Troy?
Mr. Mayor and Council, under your rules, proclamation is the exclusive province of the mayor, so there really isn't a way to force the mayor to do a proclamation. There is that other process that we had talked about some months ago where you could make a suggestion and go to a work session and see if there's consensus to bring forward a resolution of the council to commemorate something, but proclamation rests with the mayor.
Well, I mean, it'd probably be in your best interest, right? To put forth a proclamation for Women's History Month, correct? Mayor Adams?
All right, we have a motion on the table. I'd like to take a vote on that.
Sure, that sounds great.
All members in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Nay. Roll call.
Councilmember Banks.
Sorry, again, I am still confused as, what are we doing a vote on? That's,
Mr. Mayor?
In addition.
what?
Troy, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, given what I had said about who has the authority for the proclamation, the way I personally would cast this vote or describe this vote, excuse me, would be giving essentially a recommendation to the mayor to bring forward a proclamation on that subject. Again, you can't compel it, but this, I would say, amounts to a recommendation.
Go ahead, Olga.
So I just want to clarify what is the motion currently on the table?
The motion was to require the mayor to have a proclamation on, to add that onto the agenda. All right. We did a vote. I called for the vote.
I didn't vote because I was still unclear
However,
on what we
due
were
to the
voting on.
confusion,
Same here.
I'm going to take executive authority here, and we are going to re-vote Anybody have any further questions?
Just to clarify, we're voting to make a recommendation to you as mayor to proclaim.
Nope, that is not the resolution, or the
Okay,
recommendation.
I'm sorry.
The recommendation is
Yeah.
to require the mayor to make that proclamation.
I thought it was recommend. We can't, didn't Troy just say we can't require, we can
Well-
recommend?
Yeah, that's what Troy said. I've never heard John say that.
Oh,
John made the motion
I made a motion to add,
to add it to the
yeah,
agenda?
agenda.
Oh, okay, that's the
And you
motion we're
seconded.
voting on.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Are you recommending or are you requiring?
I would like to, yeah, I would like to add it, and I think if we have council.
Requiring.
Are you requiring or
Requiring.
or recommending? I guess that's,
Recommend and require,
they can't do both. Because we have a rule.
because I brought it to the mayor's attention, and he thought, well, let's bring it to a vote, and so I did both. So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, just procedurally, this is a bit unorthodox in the sense that voting to add something to the agenda that doesn't physically exist
Right.
is,
There is no.
I don't know that gets the council. That's why I was trying to cast it as, a recommendation for the mayor. I understand that wasn't the language, but I think that's the legal effect of it, is to serve as a recommendation that you consider that and to bring it back at the next meeting.
what would be the next meeting?
Right.
It would be like next month, correct? And so therefore, it would be kind of like out of scope, correct? Or you could amend tonight's meeting, right? We have staff, they could put together a proclamation for you, correct? And then you could add it to tonight's meeting when it's ready.
What is your motion?
My motion is I'm asking you to add a proclamation in recognizing Women's History Month, which is this month,
So-
March 1st through the 31st.
So really, it's an inappropriate motion.
It's in your best interest, is it not, to add a proclamation for Women's History Month? Think about it. Why wouldn't you do it? Why would you not do it?
We've had conversations about
No,
making things.
I'm asking you a question, why? Why would you not do it? Simple question.
Nancy?
May I just add that the city of Crystal, 6 days ago, had not proclaimed, but just acknowledged that March is Women's History Month, providing listening parties and chats and things, ways to people get involved, and a link to learn more through the Hennepin County Library's collection. I don't see a proclamation in front of me, therefore I am not voting for something that's physically not here, to Attorney Gilchrist's point.
Should we finish our roll call on the vote?
No, I'd prefer to take a different tack. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to get it.
Clarification?
Yes, clarification. I think anybody that's listening or anybody that's, I see a lot of other confused looks even amongst the council. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but while I think it, right, I wouldn't mind, or I would like to actually see, if there's a proclamation, but we have rules, right, and we have different ways that we have to go about it as far as adding it to the, putting it on the agenda and doing all of those different things. Just in the same context as a couple of years ago where we didn't have Black History Month on the agenda, and, we kind of didn't do the same, we didn't, because of the process and the rules, it didn't happen, right? And so we just made it a point of order to make sure that the next time it came around, that we didn't miss that again, right? We can't put something into the agenda that doesn't exist. I'm not saying that it shouldn't have been there. I'm saying that there's still, there's a reason that we have the council rules. There, and I don't think we're in a gray area. I think it's just, and Attorney Gilchrist, you can clarify. I think it's pretty kind of cut and dry as far as how we have to do it. I'm not saying that it's right that it's not there, you know, or wrong, I'm saying, but it's not. And so we have to vote on what we have in front of us.
Troy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well-spoken, council member. I have now had an opportunity to refer to the rules. And under section 2.2.1, it talks about items may be removed from the agenda by a majority vote of the members at the meeting. Urgent or emergency items may be added to the agenda during a meeting by suspending the rules. And then the suspension of the rules under 4.3 requires a 2/3 vote of the council. So under your rules, I would say, Mr. Mayor and Council, that there must first be a motion to suspend the rules, to add the item as an emergency or urgent matter because the month is going to end.
Yeah.
And if that passes by 2/3, then we could revisit the motion to add it to the agenda. So I guess, I'm sorry, so it would be the idea, the motion would be to suspend the rules, to add that to the agenda, and that would have to pass by 2/3.
I will make a motion to suspend the rules to add that to the agenda.
I second that motion.
This is an emergency.
It's not an emergency, but if we wait until the next meeting, it's.
What's frustrating for me is that you've been on this council how long, and have you read the rules to look ahead and plan ahead? I mean, this is really rather thin, so,
So.
but the motion is
I talked about
made.
this last year. I talked about this at the
You
last
can always
work session.
email Ann and
And I did
plan
talk to
ahead.
Ann about it too, as well.
Okay, well.
So, here we are.
Disrupting a meeting.
All right.
Right.
So at the end of the day, go ahead, Troy.
No, 5 votes is what I was going to say.
5 votes. All right,
Do you really want to vote? No.
Is, Mr. Mayor,
yes.
is there, like, can I ask you a question? Is there a reason that you don't have it on? That you didn't do a proclamation, or didn't just,
I don't have a reason. I mean, the main reason, what we've done in the past has been very crystal-centric things. The more we bring in bigger issues, it seems like the more feuding we do. So really, what I really want to do is maintain more crystal-centric type stuff. But that apparently is problematic.
I'd say more than half of our population is women.
I understand that.
So it is crystal-centric.
Right. I mean, if you look at, everything that way, because you can take every national issue and make it crystal-centric with that line of thinking. Nancy, go ahead.
Just wondering why this wasn't brought up at our work session last week.
I did bring it up. I brought it up at a work session where I talked about, it was at the very end of the council meeting. I spoke about things that we need to look forward to and that we should plan for. And I have
Then
talked about
why
Women's History
wasn't
Month.
a written thing in front of us to look at and vote on? I am physically not looking at a proclamation here. So if you want to bring this forward without any documentation or physical proclamation, I can't vote on that.
We should
I
have
have
it be
nothing
able to
to
have-
look at and review.
We should be able to have a discussion about it right now. And
At
it
a
should be
council
something that you feel strongly about. And obviously you do. You know, you don't feel that it needs to be supported. That's okay.
That's not what I'm saying, John.
No.
Don't put words in my mouth.
that is-
You're demeaning a woman right here. Stop it.
You just said no. That's okay. You can
Because
say
I
no.
have nothing to look at to vote on, John. There is no proclamation physically to vote on.
Proclamations are pretty much boilerplate language. You've seen a lot
Boilerplate,
of
yes,
them.
I like your crime emergency one,
It
but,
wasn't a crime emergency.
or climate emergency,
It-
I'm
it
sorry.
was
But
not
you brought
emergency.
forward a document for us to look at and discuss. I didn't see a document for us to discuss at our work session to bring forward tonight. I see nothing in front of me now, therefore I can't vote on something I don't see. That has nothing to do with how I feel about International Women's Day.
That's
Has
okay.
nothing to do
All
with
right.
that. I
That's
fully
fine.
support it. It's just not in our procedure, not in our rules. We're not following
So
procedure
this
here.
is up to me. This is really
Yeah.
up to me. We've got a passed, technically, we've got a passed agenda, right? We voted and passed an agenda. We are going to move on at this point. We've got a vote that passed the agenda. So proclamation, I'm going to move on. Bear with me here for a second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just to clarify where you're going with this as the presiding officer, so you're deeming the motion as essentially being out of order because the agenda has already been approved?
Correct.
Okay.
Can I change my vote?
Just wanted to be clear on the procedural aspect of
Yep.
that.
Let me ask, no, hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I have the executive authority to add something in this agenda. Is that true or not true?
Mr. Mayor, I would argue no, under the rules I just read. The only way to add something is, you certainly have the authority to add that prior to. I guess with consent, you could, I would imagine, add something to the agenda, but I don't know if you're asking about this issue specifically.
The proclamation issue?
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, if you're inclined to do that, then I would recommend that you take the vote and see if you have the 5 votes, and then it could be added.
Nancy?
May I offer an alternative that we promote this during at the end of council meeting where we have our notices and things, because we could promote what's been going on at Hennepin County Library with the collection and promoting the link there, which is Crystal-centric. But we have nothing physically, a proclamation in writing in front of us right now. So could we do something that's not so formal, that recognizes Women's History Month and promoting what we have to offer our Crystal residents and anyone interested who's listening at our notes at the end, public announcements at the end? Just an offer.
Okay. I'd rather not do it that way. I'd rather just see what I can do with creating a proclamation
Okay,
and do that on the fly.
okay.
So let's take the rule. We have a motion on the table, suspending the rules. So anybody have a question what we're doing, where we're going?
Is motion to suspend the rules then?
To suspend the rules. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Roll call.
Councilmember Banks?
Aye.
Councilmember Budashevsky?
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser?
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche?
Nay.
Councilmember Parsons?
Nay.
Mayor Adams?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-2.
All right. So at this point in time, I'd like to make a motion to add a verbal proclamation to the agenda on Women's History Month. Any questions on that?
Not at all.
All right.
Do you need a second?
I do.
I will second that.
Thanks, Therese. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Councilmember Budashevsky?
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser?
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche?
Nay.
Councilmember Parsons?
Nay.
Mayor Adams?
Aye.
Councilmember Banks?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-2.
All right. So bear with me on this because it's on the fly and it's verbal.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Thank you.
Proclamation for Women's History Month, dated this 15th day, May 21st. No, excuse me, it's through the whole month. March, the month of March. Whereas the city of Crystal is interested interested in recognition of Women's History Month. And because I don't have a lot of detail in front of me, I'm going to just go straight into the now. Therefore, I, Jim Adams, Mayor of Crystal, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Women's History Month. Whoops.
Does that help with some of the whereases? That first sentence?
It could, but for now, let's just leave it as is.
Okay.
All right. Did I finish that last sentence?
Start with the here, March Women's History Month in the city of Crystal.
In the city of Crystal, made by Did I do that already?
Let's teach your title.
Now therefore, I, Jim Adams, Mayor of Crystal, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Women's History Month.
Thank you.
That's it.
Yep, very good. Wonderful.
All members in favor, please say, wait, there's no. Here we go in circles. All right. I do have another one,
Yes, you just wrote it.
and I just wrote on it. Proclamation for Public Works Week, May 15th through 21st, 2022. Whereas public infrastructure in the city of Crystal is an integral part of the citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the health and safety and comfort of the city of Crystal residents, visitors, and businesses is greatly dependent upon the public works infrastructure and services, and whereas encouraging, understanding, and informed citizenry is vital to the support of public infrastructure, including transportation, parks, buildings, forestry, drinking water, sanitary sewer, and surface water, and whereas support from the community is essential for the Public Works Department to obtain the resources and support that is essential to carrying out the mission. And whereas Crystal's Public Work Department is committed to the mission of design, construction, operation, and maintenance of the city public infrastructure. Now therefore, I, Jim Adams, Mayor of the City of Crystal, do hereby proclaim the week of May 15th through the 21st as Public Works Week, recognized every day commitment made by the Public Works Department to the city's health, safety, comfort, and overall quality of life. Dated this 15th day of March, 2022. All right. Next item, consent agenda. I'll read that in the record at this point in time. The council considers the following items which are routine and non-controversial in nature. First item is approval of the minutes from the following meetings: the work session from March 1st, 2022, work session from that same day, and then a work session from March 10th, 2022. Approval of the list of license applications submitted by the city clerk to the city council. That list is on file in her office. Approval of the appointment of Taji Onesirosan as Ward 1 representative. I knew how to pronounce it, I just had to do it. As Ward 1 representative to the Parks and Recreation Commission to a term to expire December 31st, 24. Approval of a resolution authorizing a grant application for Douglas Drive-West Broadway intersection project. Approval of a resolution adopting the city intersection control map. And final item, approval of a special meeting 6:15 on March 29th, 2022 to consider second reading of an ordinance relating to redistricting city wards. Looking for a motion on that? Please go
I will
ahead.
move to approve the consent agenda as read. Is that how I do it? Good enough?
No, as written.
As written,
I missed
sorry.
a few words.
Okay, as written.
Thank you for that.
Good cover.
John, go ahead.
I second that motion.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. Open forum, do we have anyone here wishing to speak during open forum? We do.
You're so lucky.
All right. Wait a minute, we'll be the judge of that. No, we are lucky. Thank you for being here. Go ahead.
Mayor, council, I'd like to commend, Bird Orange, 6700 60th Avenue North, sorry about that. I'd like to commend the street department as well, because they have cleaned up the storm sewer drains in our area, and they also scraped off a road to remove heavy ice buildup on Lombardi on the north end in my section, 4.2 for you two guys. So I just want to commend our street department for their great efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bert.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak during open forum? Seeing no one approach, seeing no one online, we will close open forum and move on to the regular agenda. First item on that is marked with the hot pink mark so I can find it. I'll read that into the record at this time. Health Partners for March health insurance premiums, $115,421. Min-Pair for employee city required contributions for pay date 2/18/22 for $65,871. Laketown Electric Corporation for new police station costs for $206,387. League of Minnesota's workers' compensation for quarter one, $152,022. McDowell Company for the new police station costs $77,411. RTL Construction for new police station costs $28,110. West Metro Fire Rescue District for March contributions for West Metro Fire, $113,656. Center for Energy and Environment for Home Improvement and Loan Grant Programs, $26,343. Northland Concrete for Police Station, $238,149. River City Electric for police costs, station costs, $45,325. Crystal Frolics Committee for donations, $35,000 even. Is that from the relief?
30,000 of it is from the relief and 5,000 is from the VFW. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Okay, donations from the relief and from VFW for $35,000 even. Kraus Anderson Construction for new police station project management, $67,827. Min-Para for pay date 3/4/22, and that's for the employee city required contributions, $66,137. Met Council wastewater services for March, $142,050. Total disbursements of $25,000 or greater is $1,379,714.75. Any questions from the council on any of these items? All right, looking for a motion. Nancy?
I'll make a motion to approve the list of disbursements over $25,000.
All right, thank you. Second, John?
I second that motion.
All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Council will consider the following resolution related to the 2022 street resurfacing. That'd be awarding the contract and authorizing the joint powers. We have our Public Works Director, Mark Ray, here to address the council. Welcome, Mark.
Good evening, council. As we talked about earlier, we opened bids. Here's the project area for 2022. As you look at the Brownwood neighborhood and the Lee Park neighborhood, you're like, oh, there's some streets that aren't highlighted. Those are the ones we did last year. So we are now basically finishing up these two areas is what you're looking at. The budget, just under $890,000. Should be pointing out that about $34,000 is Golden Valley's portion, 34th Avenue is half of theirs. So total available budget was $924,000. Open TED bids. There's the spread. As you can see, the top four were within like $23,000 of each other, which is unbelievable. So that was cool. We're under budget by $46,000. We're adding $10,000 in from our in-house mill and overlay just as to kind of buff up the contingency a little bit to that $56,000 contingency for us. So with that, there are two items before you. One is approve the contract with Bituminous Roadways for the project. The second one then is to approve the JPA with Golden Valley for basically their half of the cost. It's literally the same JPA we've done for years with neighboring cities for this exact thing. Golden Valley did pass this JPA back in like December or something too, so just FYI on that. Are there any questions?
Go ahead, John.
Noble is kind of like segmented. What's so special about that section of the street?
It's State Aid Road.
Thank you.
Yep. So we have to do it a little bit differently, and we submit for funding from the state, but basically get an IOU. That's okay.
It's just a thicker road base, correct? It's a
Correct.
heavier-
Yeah, exactly. They have to review the plans too.
Right.
Nancy?
Yeah, Mark, the ramps that you talked about, are those metal ramps?
The ADA pedestrian ramps,
Yes.
correct, yeah, so it's the 2 square 2x2 blocks, so then it's being 4 feet wide,
Okay,
correct.
great, thank you.
Yep. I believe this year they're on Noble is where most of them are, and then some of those intersections, primarily in Lee Park, is where pretty much all the ADA work is taking place.
Go ahead, Brendan.
Now my normal question.
I know, right?
All right, well, there's.
I teed it up.
It's kind of self-explanatory. I would just say, with this amount of bids, we're starting to see, like, companies do more bids. That's a relatively good thing, right? Or,
So this is a mill and overlay project. We had 9 bids last year, to provide some context for that. These are, I mean, it's pretty meat and potatoes, pavement and concrete work. There's not a lot going on. So that's why you see the wide spread of different contractors. You know, Northwest, for example, is the one doing our utility recon, and they were 3rd from the top. So I don't know how to read into the numbers, other than that's what they are.
Go ahead.
there's nothing else?
Go ahead, Brendan.
Make a motion, I have to do this in 2 separate ones.
Yep.
Right? Make a motion to, for the resolution to award the contract for the 2022 street resurfacing project.
Nancy?
I'll second.
All right. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Brendan?
I make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the joint powers agreement with the city of Golden Valley for the 2022 street resurfacing project.
All right, thank you. Nancy, go ahead.
I'll second that motion.
All right. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. All the way to 4. Council will consider first reading of an ordinance relating to redistricting. Chrissy is our city clerk, and she's here to address the council. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening. As the council discussed at last Thursday's work session, the state redistricting map changed the legislative boundary in Crystal, and based on that change, a plan was proposed to reestablish ward and precinct boundaries, as well as polling places. The plan ensures that Crystal sections and wards are as equal in population as possible, drawn on clearly recognizable features, and compact and contiguous, with the exception of Ward 2, Precinct 1, which is permitted to accommodate the legislative boundary for Minnesota House Districts 43A and 43B, which passes through Ward 2. Currently, Crystal has 11 precincts. This plan proposes 5 precincts. The polling place changes are reduced as well, and the polling places would be Crystal City Hall for Ward 1, Fair School for Ward 2, Crystal Community Center for Ward 3, and Cornerstone Church for Ward 4. I'll pause here for a moment. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions? Seeing none, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Staff is recommending first reading of the ordinance to amend the ward boundaries, and then the next step would be to have the special meeting on March 29th to have the second reading, and then adopt the resolution amending the precinct boundaries and polling places. And you'll see on the dais there is an updated language change for the ordinance, which I can turn over to City Attorney Gilchrist, and he can explain those minor changes.
Okay. Troy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Yeah, this is, you all know this is a fairly short order to get this turned around. So Chrissy was kind enough to carry the majority of the weight on this. I just had offered that rather than creating a new section, because the ward descriptions are already in the code, my recommendation would just be to replace the existing description with the updated descriptions. So the changes really just reflect that rather than creating a new 20507, you're just replacing the existing 20505.
Okay. Questions on that? Okay, thank you, Troy. That's it?
Just one more thing, Mr. Mayor, please. I just wanted to extend a thank you to Dave Fritzke, our Maptitude expert, and to the staff that helped. It was a group effort, and I appreciate everybody's time and assistance with this, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you for making it so smooth. Yeah. All right. Nancy?
If nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the following ordinance, amending Crystal City Code subsection 205.05 regarding wards. And also further that the second and final reading will be held on March 29th, 2022.
David?
I second that.
Okay. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, that's the end of our council meeting. We do have a few announcements. The next council meeting is Tuesday, April 5th at 7 p.m. at council chambers in City Hall. We're doing a special meeting, aren't we?
The 29th at 6:15, correct?
Is that on here?
No. It was on the consent agenda. If that helps.
Okay. So we'll highlight that here again,
Yep.
just for
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
City Council will hold its next work session on Thursday, April 7th at 6:30 PM at council chambers. City Council work sessions are open to the public. You may view or listen to previous meetings on our website at crystalmn.gov. And we're highlighting the next special council meeting is March 29th at 7 o'clock here in Crystal.
Actually, it's at 6:15, I believe.
6:15.
Oh, wow, weird time for a council meeting. Well, it should be pretty short.
I was gonna say, I hope.
Okay, 6:15. Thank you for that correction. And
Yep.
any other, Nancy?
I'm madly quick trying to find it, and I just did. Just wanted to remind everyone about the bulky waste curbside pickup, which starts March 28th through April 7th, and that's right about the time of our April meeting. So just wanted to give that reminder out there for those wanting to clear out and add some space. And then you can click on the city's website to find that exact location and time.
Time for your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Correct. Awesome, thank you. Anyone else? All right.
I'd just like to mention that Thursday is St. Patrick's Day. So, I know, just make sure everybody knows.
Okay. Should have done a proclamation for that, right?
No, there's not.
Say
no.
I'm sure there will be a few on that day, but, you know, no need to talk about it now.
All right. Motion to adjourn. I make that. Looking for a second.
So moved.
Nancy?
I beat you, John.
Yeah, kind of blocked you out there, sorry. It was fun, though. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
All right.